So as I was first beginning to grow my garden, one of the first steps the book talked about was building a garden box. It said to get 12-foot boards and cut them and screw them together, and voila, you have a box. So for some reason in my mind, I had this assumption. Remember, we talked about assumptions yesterday. And I had this assumption that it was my husband's job to use the power saw to cut the boards, to nail them together, because that was a man's job and that was how it's supposed to be. And as I continued in this waiting place, thinking that it was someone else's job to do X, Y, Z, I waited and nothing happened. And I nagged and nothing happened. And you get the story, right? So finally, I decided to take my power back, to choose, to decide. I decided to use a power saw for the first time. There was all these limitations in my mind about why I couldn't do it. I had never used a power saw. I thought it was dangerous. I had limitations about not feeling capable. That was really the bottom root cause of what was going on in my mind. I grew up the last to 6 kids. All of them, I gave power to tell me what to do as the youngest child, or at least in my perspective. They might have a different perspective, but I grew up in a victim mindset, feeling sorry for myself. So I had absorbed all these beliefs that I did not believe that I was capable. So when it came to doing things like this, it had always been someone else's job in the past to do those things. So I remember the day that I decided that I was going to build the garden box myself. I was no longer going to wait for anyone else to do the job for me, and I was going to take responsibility. So I went out to the shed. We had a power saw and I had boards and I made a plan. And I remember this feeling of turning on the saw and feeling like this huge, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. And then I turned on the saw and I sawed the board, and of course, measuring and all that stuff and then screw them together wasn't a big deal. But afterwards, I felt this amazing power inside of myself where I broke that belief of being incapable. I broke the belief of I can't do it. It's someone else's job. I finally did it myself, and I had a new mindset. My actions had told my mind, I am capable. I can do this. I can make a decision and do the next step of what needs to be done. So that was such an amazing feeling where I got out of the waiting place. And I decided to take responsibility and to take action and to move forward.